Do you ever feel like life is slipping through your fingers? You wake up early, rush through your morning routine, spend hours at work, and come home too drained to enjoy the little free time you have left. The weekends are a blur of chores and errands, and before you know it, you're back at the grind. To cope, you might indulge in some online shopping or treat yourself to a fancy gadget or a night out, hoping it'll fill the emptiness only to realize that the satisfaction is fleeting. It's a vicious loop of working, spending, and repeating a treadmill that never stops. This is the work, consume, die cycle, and if you feel trapped in it, you're not alone. This cycle isn't just a personal struggle, it's a societal norm. From the moment we're old enough to understand the world, we're taught that success means a high-paying job, a big house, a new car, and the latest tech. Advertisements bombard us with messages that tell us we're not enough unless we buy this or upgrade that. We're conditioned to believe that the more we consume, the happier we'll be, but the reality is often the opposite. The more we consume, the more we need to work to sustain that lifestyle, and the less time we have to truly live. It's a trap that can leave you feeling unfulfilled, no matter how much you achieve or acquire. But here's the thing, this cycle isn't inevitable. You don't have to spend your life running on a hamster wheel, chasing happiness that always seems just out of reach. Breaking free is entirely possible, and it doesn't mean you have to abandon modern life or live in isolation. It's about redefining what success means to you, rejecting the idea that your worth is tied to what you own, and finding fulfillment in ways that align with your deepest values. In this video, we're going to explore how to escape this cycle. Together, we'll unpack why the work, consume, die mentality has such a strong grip on society and how you can challenge it. I'll share practical steps to take control of your time and money, and I'll help you discover how to live more intentionally with a purpose that goes beyond the daily grind. By the end of this video, you'll have the clarity and tools you need to start living a life that's not dictated by societal expectations, but by what truly matters to you. Imagine waking up each day with a sense of purpose, feeling in control of your life, and no longer chasing after things that don't bring lasting joy. That's the life you deserve, and it's entirely within your reach. Let's take the first step toward breaking free. What is the work, consume, die cycle? At its heart, the work, consume, die cycle is a pattern that traps individuals in an endless loop. You work tirelessly to earn money, spend that hard-earned income on material possessions, temporary indulgences, or fleeting experiences, and then return to work to repeat the same routine. Over time, life begins to feel monotonous, like running on a hamster wheel. This cycle isn't just a personal struggle. It's a deeply ingrained system built into the fabric of modern society, designed to keep people in a state of constant productivity and consumption. The roots of this mindset stretch back to the rise of industrial societies. During the Industrial Revolution, work became less about craftsmanship or purpose, and more about efficiency and production. Workers were no longer creating for fulfillment, but to meet the demands of a factory schedule and a growing market. Over time, this mindset evolved into a societal norm. Your value is measured by how much you produce, and success is defined by how much you can buy. It was a shift that reduced human existence to mere labor and consumption, making it easy to lose sight of deeper meaning and connection. Adding fuel to this fire, media and advertising play a pivotal role in reinforcing the cycle. Every day, we're bombarded with messages telling us that we need more gadgets, more luxury, more upgrades. Advertisements prey on our insecurities, suggesting that our happiness, status, or self-worth depends on the things we own. Social media amplifies this further, as curated feeds often showcase an endless parade of material success, creating a sense of inadequacy in those who feel they can't keep up. It's a carefully crafted system that ensures we stay dissatisfied just enough to keep spending. The emotional toll of this cycle is immense. Burnout has become a global epidemic, with people feeling drained and depleted from constantly working without a sense of purpose. Stress levels are through the roof, as many juggle demanding jobs with the pressure to maintain a certain lifestyle. And even with all the material possessions in the world, there's often a profound sense of emptiness, a lack of fulfillment, that no amount of consumption can fill. This cycle creates a disconnection from what truly matters, relationships, personal growth, and genuine joy. Does any of this sound familiar? This cycle creates a disconnection from what truly matters: relationships, personal growth, and genuine joy. Does any of this sound familiar? If it does, it's important to know that it's not your fault. This system is designed to keep you trapped, distracted, and always striving for more. But here's the empowering truth. The first step to breaking free is becoming aware of the cycle itself. Once you recognize how deeply it has infiltrated your life, you can begin to challenge it, reclaim your time and energy, and redefine success on your own terms. Awareness is the key that unlocks the door to a more intentional and meaningful life. Why do we get stuck in this cycle? Escaping the work, consume, die cycle isn't easy, and for good reason. It's deeply embedded in the way we think, live, and interact with society. To understand why it's so challenging to break free, we need to examine the forces that keep us tethered to this exhausting loop. One of the most significant drivers is cultural pressure. From a young age, we're taught that success is synonymous with wealth, status, and material possessions. A high-paying job, a big house, a luxury car. These symbols are paraded as proof that you've made it. Societal norms reinforce this belief, making it seem as though those who don't strive for these markers of success are somehow failing. The result? Many people feel compelled to chase these goals, even if they're not truly fulfilling, simply because it's what's expected of them. Fear of change is another powerful force that keeps us stuck. Leaving the security of a steady paycheck or straying from societal approval can feel incredibly risky. For many, the idea of stepping away from the norm, whether that's downsizing, pursuing a passion project, or living a simpler life, is met with anxiety. What if it doesn't work out? What will people think? This fear often paralyzes us, making it easier to stick with the familiar, even if it's unfulfilling. Adding to this challenge is a lack of awareness. For a lot of people, the work, consume, die cycle feels normal. It's just the way life is. When everyone around you is living the same way, it's hard to recognize that there might be another option. Without that awareness, it's easy to stay on autopilot, moving from one day to the next, without questioning whether your choices align with your values and aspirations. Debt and financial strain also play a significant role. Consumerism encourages overspending, whether it's on the latest gadget, a dream vacation, or lifestyle upgrades. For many, this leads to cycles of credit card debt, loans, and financial stress. Debt becomes a trap, forcing people to work harder just to keep up with payments, leaving little room for saving, investing, or making meaningful life changes. It's a vicious cycle that perpetuates the very system they're trying to escape. Breaking free requires more than just practical adjustments. It demands a profound mindset shift. It's not just about cutting expenses or finding a new job. It's about rethinking what success means, questioning the narratives we've been told, and giving ourselves permission to live differently. Recognizing these underlying forces is the first step toward freedom, and as we explore the path forward, it becomes clear that a more intentional, purposeful life is entirely within reach. Redefining success. One of the most transformative steps you can take to escape the work, consume, die cycle is to redefine success on your own terms. For far too long, society has dictated a narrow and often unattainable definition of success, tying it to wealth, possessions, and social status. But true success isn't one size fits. It's deeply personal, and it starts with understanding what truly matters to you. Success isn't about meeting societal expectations or checking off predefined boxes. It's about aligning your life with your own values and goals. Personal goals should always take precedence over societal norms. Maybe for you, success isn't a corner office or a luxury car. It's having time to take your kids to school, enjoying slow mornings, or working on a passion project that lights you up inside. When you begin to measure success by your own standards, you'll find it easier to resist the pressure to conform to external ideals. Minimalism and intentional living are also key tools for redefining success. We live in a world that glorifies excess, where happiness is often equated with having more clothes, more gadgets, more stuff. But the truth is, accumulating possessions often leads to stress, clutter, and an endless chase for the next best thing. By focusing on fewer, more meaningful things, you free yourself from the burden of keeping up and create space for what truly brings you joy. Minimalism isn't about deprivation. It's about intentionality, choosing quality over quantity in every area of your life. And then there's the value of time. In the hustle of chasing financial success, we often overlook our most precious and finite resource: time. Unlike money, time is something you can't earn back once it's gone. Spending time with loved ones, exploring your interests, or simply being present in the moment often brings far more fulfillment than working overtime to afford things you don't really need. The question isn't how much money you can make, but how you can make your time count. Take a moment to reflect. What does success look like for you? Is it about traveling the world, deepening your relationships, or finally pursuing that creative passion you've been putting off? Write it down. Your vision for success starts here. By redefining success in a way that resonates with your values, you'll begin to break free from the cycle of working and consuming, and start living a life that feels meaningful and true to yourself. Building financial freedom. Financial insecurity is one of the strongest chains that keeps people trapped in the work, consume, die cycle. Breaking free often requires taking control of your finances, so that your money works for you, not the other way around. Financial freedom doesn't mean being wealthy. It means having the ability to make choices that align with your values and goals without being limited by financial stress. Start by creating a budget that prioritizes what truly matters. Many people think of budgeting as restrictive, but it's actually liberating when done with purpose. Shift your focus away from buying material possessions and towards saving for experiences and goals that bring lasting joy. For instance, instead of upgrading to the latest smartphone, you might save for a family trip, a creative workshop, or simply build an emergency fund that gives you peace of mind. A clear, intentional budget ensures that every dollar you spend aligns with your vision for a meaningful life. Another powerful step is to explore side hustles or passive income streams. Relying solely on a single job for your income can feel like walking a financial tightrope, with little room for flexibility or unexpected changes. A side hustle, whether it's freelancing, selling handmade items, or renting out a spare room, can supplement your income and reduce dependency on your main job. Passive income, such as investing in dividend-paying stocks or creating a digital product that earns revenue over time, can also create long-term financial stability. These additional streams of income give you the breathing room to focus on what truly matters, instead of feeling trapped by financial obligations. Debt is another key factor that perpetuates the cycle. Credit card debt, student loans, and other financial burdens can make it feel impossible to get ahead. To break free, adopt strategies for paying off debt systematically. Start with the snowball method, paying off small debts first for momentum, or the avalanche method, targeting high-interest debts first. Simultaneously, learn to live within your means. This might mean saying no to impulse purchases or resisting the urge to upgrade your lifestyle with every raise. A debt-free life gives you the freedom to make decisions without financial strain dictating your choices. Finally, don't underestimate the power of investing in yourself. Learning new skills, pursuing additional certifications, or even starting a small business can open doors to opportunities that align with your passions. For instance, if you've always dreamed of being a writer, take a creative writing course. If you're passionate about fitness, get certified as a trainer. These investments in your growth not only increase your earning potential, but also allow you to transition into work that feels fulfilling and purpose-driven. Financial freedom isn't about stockpiling wealth. It's about creating options. It's the freedom to spend time with your loved ones, to pursue hobbies and passions, and to live without the constant shadow of financial stress. When you achieve financial freedom, you break the cycle of working endlessly just to consume, and instead, you take control of your life. Breaking free from the work, consume, die cycle isn't just about fixing your finances. It's about taking control of how you spend your time, energy, and focus. Living intentionally means choosing a life that reflects your values, goals, and desires, rather than letting societal norms or external pressures dictate your path. This shift requires mindfulness in every decision, from how you manage your day to the relationships you nurture. Intentional living begins with mindful decision-making. Every choice you make, no matter how small, has an impact. Are you spending your time on activities that truly enrich your life? Or are you saying yes out of obligation? Are your purchases adding value to your life? Or are they quick fixes for fleeting satisfaction? Intentional living means slowing down and asking yourself these questions regularly. For instance, before committing to an event or purchasing something new, consider whether it aligns with your long-term goals or simply fills a temporary void. This approach allows you to live purposefully instead of reacting to life on autopilot. Equally important is the ability to say no. It might sound simple, but many of us struggle with setting boundaries, whether it's at work, with friends, or even with our consumer habits. Overcommitting to tasks or saying yes to things that don't align with your values can drain your energy and leave little room for personal growth or joy. By learning to say no to unnecessary obligations, overtime hours, or endless scrolling on social media, you create space for activities and people that genuinely matter. Setting these boundaries isn't selfish. It's an act of self-care that ensures your time and energy are spent intentionally. Decluttering is another vital practice for intentional living. Physical clutter, like overstuffed closets and crowded living spaces, can weigh heavily on your mind. Simplifying your environment not only clears the space around you, but also clears mental blocks, allowing you to focus on what truly matters. The same principle applies to mental clutter and less worry, toxic relationships, or self-doubt. Take active steps to remove these from your life, whether it's through meditation, journaling, or seeking professional guidance. A decluttered life fosters creativity, growth, and peace of mind. Intentional living also means redefining success on your own terms. Instead of chasing milestones society deems valuable, focus on creating a life that aligns with your passions and values. Perhaps it's spending more time outdoors, nurturing a hobby, or volunteering in your community. Whatever it may be, living intentionally ensures that your choices reflect who you truly are, not who the world expects you to be. At its heart, intentional living is about reclaiming control over your life. It's a conscious effort to move away from distractions and pressures, choosing instead to live authentically and meaningfully. By doing so, you'll not only escape the cycle but also craft a life filled with purpose, balance, and genuine happiness. A life without purpose can often feel like wandering in a fog, unsure of where to go, what to do, or why it even matters. Breaking free from the work, consume, die cycle becomes much easier when you have a clear sense of purpose guiding your actions and decisions. Your purpose doesn't have to be extraordinary. It simply needs to resonate deeply with you, filling your life with meaning and direction. The journey to finding your purpose starts with self-reflection. Ask yourself, what truly makes you happy? When do you feel most alive? For some, it might be spending time in nature, creating art, or caring for loved ones. For others, it could be teaching, building something with their hands, or making people laugh. Reflect on moments when you felt fulfilled and at peace. They often hold clues about your deeper purpose. Journaling can help here. Writing down your thoughts, memories, and dreams can reveal patterns that point toward what genuinely matters to you. It's also important to distinguish between passion and purpose. Passions are often fleeting. They're the hobbies, interests, or activities that excite you in the moment. Purpose, on the other hand, is rooted in a deeper sense of meaning. For example, you might feel passionate about baking, but your purpose could lie in using that passion to bring people together or create joy for others. Finding your purpose often requires looking beyond surface-level interests to discover how they connect to something bigger. Another way to uncover your purpose is by giving back. Helping others can provide a profound sense of fulfillment and clarity about what matters most to you. Whether it's mentoring someone, volunteering at a local shelter, or supporting a cause you believe in, acts of kindness often align with a greater sense of purpose. When you see the impact you can have on someone else's life, it becomes easier to define your own path. Purpose doesn't have to be tied to a career or a grand vision. It can be as simple as creating a loving and supportive home, sharing your knowledge with others, or contributing to your community. The key is to make it personal and meaningful to you. When you live with purpose, every action feels intentional, and the mundane routines of life start to take on new significance. Living a purposeful life isn't about having all the answers, it's about exploring, experimenting, and staying true to what feels right for you. It's okay for your purpose to evolve over time. What matters is that you're actively seeking it and allowing it to guide your journey. Once you find your purpose, breaking free from the monotony of the cycle becomes not just possible, but inevitable. Breaking free from the work-consume-die cycle is no small feat, and trying to do it alone can feel overwhelming. The truth is, we thrive on connection, and the people around us have a significant influence on how we live our lives. Building a strong support system can make all the difference as you embark on this journey toward intentional and fulfilling living. The first step is finding like-minded individuals. These are the people who share your values, aspirations, or desire to escape the rat race. Joining communities or groups aligned with your goals can provide both inspiration and practical advice. Whether it's a local meetup for minimalists, an online forum for financial independence, or a group of creatives pursuing their passions, being surrounded by individuals who understand your vision can be incredibly empowering. These communities remind you that you're not alone, and they often provide the motivation needed to keep going. Equally important is identifying and cutting out toxic influences. Unfortunately, not everyone in your life will support your decision to break away from societal norms. Some people may criticize your choices or pressure you to stay in the cycle of endless work and consumption. Others might reinforce unhealthy habits or mindsets that hold you back. While it's not always easy to distance yourself from these influences, especially if they're close friends or family, it's crucial to set boundaries and protect your mental and emotional well-being. Remember, your journey isn't about pleasing others. It's about creating a life that feels right for you. Accountability partners are another essential element of a strong support system. Having someone who shares your goals or who believes in your potential can help you stay on track. This could be a close friend, a mentor, or even a coach. Share your plans with them and ask them to check in on your progress. Sometimes, just knowing that someone is rooting for you and holding you accountable can provide the extra push needed to keep moving forward. Beyond just people, a support system can also include resources, tools, or routines that nurture your growth. Books, podcasts, or courses can provide guidance and inspiration, while practices like journaling or meditation can help you stay centered and focused. Surrounding yourself with the right people and influences is like building a safety net that catches you when you stumble and propels you forward when you succeed. A supportive network not only makes the journey more manageable, but also more enjoyable. It's a reminder that while the path to breaking free is deeply personal, it doesn't have to be lonely. Breaking free from the work-consume-die cycle is a bold and rewarding journey, but it's not without its challenges. Many people set out with the best intentions, only to find themselves slipping back into old habits. Recognizing and avoiding common pitfalls can help you stay on track and sustain the changes you've worked so hard to make. One of the most frequent mistakes is overcomplicating the process. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the sheer scope of what breaking free entails: rethinking your finances, redefining success, and changing deeply ingrained habits. Many people try to tackle everything at once, which can lead to burnout and frustration. Instead, focus on small, manageable steps. Start with one aspect of your life, like simplifying your budget or cutting back on unnecessary purchases. Gradually, these small changes will build momentum, making the process feel less daunting and more achievable. Another trap to watch out for is falling for consumerist reinventions of simplicity. Ironically, the desire to live minimally can sometimes lead people into buying products marketed as essential for a minimalist lifestyle. Whether it's a sleek new planner, high-end organizational tools, or trendy eco-friendly gadgets, these items often promise transformation but only serve to reinforce consumer habits. Remember, intentional living isn't about owning the right things. It's about questioning whether you need them at all. Losing motivation is another hurdle many people face. The excitement and determination that fuel the initial stages of the journey can fade over time, especially when progress feels slow. To stay inspired, revisit the reasons why you started. Reflect on how far you've come, even if the steps seem small. Celebrate your wins, whether it's paying off a credit card, spending a week without impulsive purchases, or carving out more time for loved ones. Regularly remind yourself of your bigger vision and the freedom you're working toward. It's also essential to let go of the idea of perfection. Breaking free from this cycle isn't about living a flawless, idealized life. It's about progress and growth. There will be setbacks, moments of doubt, or even times when you slip back into old patterns. That's okay. What matters is recognizing these moments and course correcting without being overly hard on yourself. By understanding these pitfalls and actively working to avoid them, you set yourself up for long-term success. The journey might not always be smooth, but each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory in reclaiming your life. When I first noticed that my life revolved around working, consuming, and repeating the same pattern every day, I felt trapped and exhausted. I had a well-paying job that demanded 60-hour weeks, and I convinced myself that the long hours and constant hustle were worth it. To cope with the stress, I indulged in expensive meals, impulse purchases, and the latest gadgets under the guise of treating myself. Yet, no matter how much I spent, there was an emptiness I couldn't shake. The breaking point came one quiet evening when I sat alone in my apartment, surrounded by things I thought would make me happy. My latest purchasey designer chair looked perfect in my living room, but I couldn't stop asking myself, is this it? Is this what I've been working so hard for? That moment of clarity hit me like a ton of bricks. Despite my possessions and achievements, I felt drained, unfulfilled, and disconnected from my deeper self. I decided it was time to confront the tough questions I had been avoiding for so long. I asked myself, what do I truly want from life? Why am I stuck, and what's holding me back? The answers weren't pretty. I realized I had tied my self-worth to external validation, success at work, approval from peers, and possessions that showcased my status. I was living a life dictated by societal expectations, not by what actually made me happy. That was the moment I began to change. The first thing I did was to embrace minimalist principles. I started decluttering my life, and not just physically but emotionally and financially as well. I let go of items that didn't add real value to my life, and began focusing on experiences and relationships that brought me genuine joy. I also created a savings plan to build financial freedom. Instead of spending on short-lived pleasures, I prioritized investing in my future and security. Another major shift was exploring work that aligned with my passions. I transitioned out of the high-stress job that drained me and started pursuing projects that I genuinely enjoyed. It wasn't easy. It meant a temporary pay cut and stepping out of my comfort zone, but the freedom and satisfaction I gained were worth every challenge. Today, my life looks completely different. I wake up excited, knowing that my time and energy are spent on things that truly matter to me. I've learned to appreciate simple joys like a morning walk, a meaningful conversation, or pursuing a creative hobby. My days are no longer dictated by what I should do or buy. They're guided by what feels purposeful and fulfilling. If you're feeling stuck in the same cycle, know that change is possible. It's not an overnight transformation, and it requires courage, self-reflection, and effort. But trust me, breaking free is the most rewarding thing you'll ever do. The journey toward a more intentional, fulfilling life is worth it. And if I can do it, so can you. If this message resonated with you, take the first step toward creating a more intentional and meaningful life today. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content like this, and drop a comment below. What's one thing you're ready to change to break free from the cycle? Be sure to check the description for helpful links to resources, books, and tools that can guide you on this journey. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch and reflect. I hope this inspired you to rethink what success and freedom mean to you. Remember, this isn't about rejecting work or money. It's about finding balance and living with intention. Stay tuned for my next video, where we'll explore practical strategies to simplify your life and focus on what truly matters. Until then, take care and keep moving toward the life you deserve. See you soon.